Hi students, today we are going to see estimation of elements. See, in the previous video we have studied deduction of elements. So in that we have deducted or we found these like elements are present in the organic compound. So how much percentage or how much composition of that elements is present, we can find by using qualitative analysis method. For that we have to estimate the elements. Okay, right. So the organic compounds may have carbon, hydrogen, sulfur, phosphorus, oxygen, nitrogen, like many heteroatoms, right? So in that atom, one by one, we are going to find. First, we are going to estimate how much amount of carbon or how much amount of hydrogen is present in that organic compound. We are going to find first, right? So estimation of carbon and hydrogen. So carbon and hydrogen together we can estimate, because maximum carbon hydrogen in that reduction also within a same test we use. Here also same test we can use to find the amount of carbon and hydrogen. Yes, for this simply we are going to take in a burner, okay, and we are going to heat in the presence of air. We will get oxidation of carbon becoming carbon dioxide, hydrogen becoming water. Based on the amount of carbon dioxide water formed in this reaction, we can find the amount of carbon hydrogen present in that organic compound. Okay, yes, suppose if you take x amount of carbon, you can take x, y amount of hydrogen, with oxidation it will give CO2 x times y times of H2O, or separately you can write equation C plus O2 CO2 H plus O2 H2O, right? Yes, here in the apparatus, in this method we are going to use some apparatus which having three parts. What are the three parts? First one, supply of oxygen. So we cannot use simply add the oxygen like that. We have to follow instruction. Actually, in this method we are going to here we are supplying oxygen, input oxygen. These are the copper oxide gas, right? This also. Here small portion we have copper oxide, right? Coarse copper oxide. Then this is connected with 2 U tube. Now the first U tube is filled with H2SO4. Second one filled with KOH, right? And also here we have boat shaped vessel to carry the organic compound. Here you can keep the organic compounds, right? Okay, so if you understand this diagram easily, you can write this estimation. So the first heading, oxygen supply. We are supplying the oxygen, directly we cannot supply. So it should be removed or pure oxygen. For that, first we are adding with the H2SO4. So that H2SO4 will absorb any moisture, any water moisture in that, it will absorb. And also we are going to pass the oxygen with soda lime, that will absorb carbon dioxide. Is there anything present in the oxygen? Because we should pass only oxygen, because we are going to measure the amount of water and carbon dioxide formed in that apparatus. So previously we should not send any carbon dioxide and water. That's why The first portion we are supplying the oxygen without moisture and carbon dioxide. Then second part is combustion tube. This overall apparatus only called a combustion tube, combustion burner, gas burner, right? In the combustion burner, we have three parts. What are the three parts? Sorry, four. One is oxidized copper gas. Already I told there are copper gas wires which is used to prevent that reconsumption or the reaction may takes place reverse, so we can prevent that reverse reaction. And then we have boat shape of that vessel that is used to keep the organic compound well known weighed. We have to weigh the amount of organic compound, we have to keep it. Then here we have porous copper to carry out the reaction. Both end we have the oxidized wire copper gas to prevent the some other reaction. It is connected with two U tubes, right? That is called the absorption apparatus. So this tube is called a burner, okay, tube. Here we are heating with the gas burner, so the reaction will carry out. So carbon will oxidize into carbon dioxide, hydrogen will oxidize into water. Then water will be absorbed by H2SO4. Carbon dioxide formed in this reaction will absorb by KOH. But here we are keeping calcium chloride. Why we are keeping calcium chloride? From that side any oxygen or moisture will come inside, to avoid that we are keeping calcium chloride there. So this apparatus, now we are going to see procedure. What is the procedure? Simple. We have to take the organic substance in which we want to find or estimate hydrogen or carbon. That organic compound is taken and it is heated heavily for 2 hours. Very important. How long we have to heat? 2 hours. By adding or the end of the combustion tube open, before itself we have to heat the combustion tube because inside already it may have some gases. So to avoid that, we are keep drying the tube with the empty vessel without keeping the organic substance. After drying, we can add the organic substance in that boat shaped vessel, right? Then if you supply the oxygen, what will happen? It will react, that organic compound will react with hot oxygen. We are continuously heating up to 2 hours. If you heat it, what will happen? The carbon oxidizes into carbon dioxide. Then it will be absorbed with H2SO4, right? Moisture will be absorbed with H2SO4. Carbon dioxide may absorb with KOH, potassium hydroxide. Now we know that how much amount initially we have taken H2SO4, and then after absorbing the water it may increase in the mass. Based on the difference in the mass, we can calculate the carbon and hydrogen percentage in that organic compound. Now calculation part. So in the calculation part, first we have to write mass of organic compound, W1 gram, okay. Then mass of H2SO4, how much? W2 we can say, yes, or we can take XY, X gram. Then mass of carbon dioxide, here we can write KOH, that is Y gram. Now it is equal to what? Mass of water, mass of CO2. How, sir? See, initially how much H2SO4 taken? For example, you say 10 gram. Now it is 12 gram, means the 2 gram is nothing but mass of H2, right? So like we have to find the difference between the mass of H2SO4 and KOH in initial and final, that is equal to mass of water and carbon dioxide, right? Right. Now we have to find mass of each carbon and hydrogen. So the next step, for water, 18 gram mass of water is 18 gram. In the 18 gram of water, how much gram of hydrogen is present? 2 gram of hydrogen is present, right? That means in x gram, how many hydrogen present, like you want to find. So 18 gram, out of 18, 2 gram is present. For x amount in the W1, because from the W1 only we have prepared x and y. So out of W1, how much x is found? 18 gives 2 gram, then W1 gives how much gram? The same way for carbon dioxide, 44 gram of CO2 will give, what is the molecular weight for carbon? 12 gram of carbon. Then 12 out of 44 means Y out of W1. We want to find in percentage, so we can multiply with 100 both. So this is the formula to find the carbon hydrogen present in the organic compound, right? Next, we are going to estimate other compound. Before that, some instructions are given. Note, what is that? See, is there nitrogen? In case you may do the reaction with carbon and oxygen. Unknowingly, if you have nitrogen, what happened? It may affect, it may give some other nitrogen dioxide compound. So to avoid that, we can use spiral of copper. Very important. Spiral of copper is there. Nitrogen means you have to use spiral of copper. In case halogens anything present means silver. Spiral of silver you should use. Then in case any lead chromate, sulfur present means lead chromate you have to use. Why we are using this interfering element, we should remove. So unknowingly if you have, you can use these to avoid the excess of, or it may affect the estimation of carbon hydrogen. So we can use these chemicals to remove all those nitrogen, halogen and sulfur. Now the next estimation of sulfur by Carey's method. Sulfur by Carey's method. See, this is very familiar method to estimate many compound, many element like sulfur. Okay. So here just we are going to do the organic compound is heated with organic compound plus nitric acid, and it is heated in the Carey's tube. It will be sealed and heated inside the iron container, right? So what will happen? Is there any carbon? It will form carbon dioxide. Hydrogen as usual it will form water, right? So we can remove all those things. In case if you have sulfur, it will form sulfuric acid. Listen carefully. Now, already we have found water and carbon dioxide. So we can remove the gases. We are left out with the sulfuric acid. Then we can find the mass of sulfur present in that. So what are the reaction it may take place? Carbon with oxygen, it may give carbon dioxide. Hydrogen with oxygen, it may give water. In case sulfur is taken means it will form first SO2, further react with water and oxygen, it will form H2SO4, right? So now we got H2SO4. Then directly we cannot measure sulfur in H2SO4. So the H2SO4 is treated with barium chloride. So it will produce barium sulfate with HCl. Now the barium sulfate you can measure. Weight of barium sulfate we can measure, we can find the amount of sulfur present in this compound, right? So what is the procedure for this method? We have to take Carey's apparatus. Here we have to keep like this apparatus we will use. So this is iron container for a heating purpose. This is called a Carey's tube. Then here we have open. We just want to take nitric acid with organic compound with a small cap like apparatus. Then we have to seal it. Then we can heat. Okay. So here we should heat up to 5 hours. How long we want to heat? 5 hours. After that we have to cool. Then we can open it. It may have some gases like CO2, water, because carbon, hydrogen also may present in the organic compound. So we can remove all the gases. Remaining we are left out with H2SO4, right? So based on the amount of H2SO4, we can add barium sulfate. So it is becoming barium chloride will add, it becoming barium sulfate. So based on the amount of barium sulfate, we can do the calculation. So as usual, organic compound, mass of organic compound is taken W1 gram. Then mass of H2SO4 W2 gram. Okay. Sorry, here we have to take barium sulfate only, no? Yes, mass of barium sulfate, right? Then we know that how much amount of barium sulfate molecular weight 233 gram. 233 gram is molecular weight of barium sulfate, gives sulfur 32 gram of sulfur. Then W2 gram or XY gram of organic compound containing sulfur is equal to, what is the formula? See, 32 gram out of 223 means out of W1 how much? W2. Here we can write W2 or X for easy understanding, X gram, right? If you want to multiply with if you want to find in percentage, we should multiply with 100. So 32 divided by 2, 33 into X by W into 100 is the formula to find amount of sulfur present in the organic compound. This Carey's method usually we will do with the same procedure. Next we are going to estimate halogens. So halogen, the same procedure, we have to take along with nitric acid. If you heat, what will happen? Carbon will form carbon dioxide, hydrogen will form water, sulfur is there, means it will form sulfuric acid. But we may not have the sulfur here. Now, halogen, what will happen? We are going to add halogen with the AgNO3. So silver nitrate also we are adding. Is there any halogen? For example, chlorine becoming AgCl. Like it will form silver salt. Bromine means AgBr. Iodine means AgI. So as usual, we can remove these gases. What is the apparatus? The same apparatus. Here we have. Then what's the procedure? The same procedure. What will happen? First we have to take organic substance with nitric acid and silver nitrate, and we can heat up to, here also how many hours we have to heat? 5 hours, right? So if you heat, what will happen? The reaction will take place here. They are additionally telling 532 540 Kelvin temperature you have to maintain for 5 hours. right? Then if you cool and break it, the gases like carbon dioxide, water will go out. Remaining we have salt, silver salt we will have, right? AgX, simply we can say AgX. It makes chlorine, bromine, iodine. So each one we want to find calculation. So what is the calculation for first? Shall we go with chlorine? Yes. For chlorine, how do you find? Organic compound, mass of organic compound, W1 gram. Usually we will write. Next, mass of AgX, silver chloride. We can take X. Okay. Here we will use chlorine, bromine, iodine, so we can take for chlorine A gram, right? Then silver chloride. What is the molecular mass for silver chloride? 143.5 gram of silver chloride will give. What is the weight of chlorine? 35.5. Gives 35.5 gram of chlorine. Then you apply the formula. A gram of organic compound containing chlorine is equal to, if you take 143.5, it will give 35.5. Then if you take W1, it will give A amount. For what? Percentage we have to multiply with 100. The same we can use for bromine. If you take bromine, we can use B. Then we will have bromine mass, means this line will change for each one. Silver bromide, 188 gram of silver bromide will give, what is the molecular mass of, atomic mass of bromine? 80 gram of bromine will form. So here B, that means bromine you have to calculate. Then what will be the formula? Out of 188, 80 means out of W1 how much? For percentage. At last we will use the same calculation for iodine. Here C, right? So it will form 235 gram of silver iodide gives 133. Iodine molecular mass 127 gram of iodine. Then C gram of organic compound will give, the mass of iodine is same, 235 out of 127 into C gram out of W1 gram for percentage. Okay. See, just this line will change because chlorine, bromine, iodine having different atomic mass. So the molecular mass, atomic mass will change. Based on that, we can change the formula, right? At last, we are going to estimate phosphorus. Phosphorus also we are going to carry with carries method. So phosphorus, right? So the phosphorus compound, same way we are going to add with nitric acid, HNO3. What will happen? Carbon becoming carbon dioxide, hydrogen becoming water, this phosphorus becoming what? Phosphate compound, that is nothing but phosphoric acid, H3PO4, it becoming phosphoric acid. Then we can remove the gases, we will get this phosphate compound. Further it is added with ammonium molybdenate. If you add ammonium molybdenate, it will give ammonium phosphomolybdenate. That is the final product. By using that product, we can find the mass of phosphorus present in that organic compound. So we will see the chemical reaction also here, somewhat difficult. Phosphate with ammonium molybdenate. What is the molecular formula? NH4 twice MOO4, ammonium molybdenate, and also we are adding 21 moles of nitric acid. So both we are adding the carriage tube and heating for 5 hours. Then we will get ammonium phosphomolybdenate precipitate. What is that? NH4 thrice. Out of 24 ammonia, we are taking 3 only. Ammonium phosphomolybdenate. Phosphate means PO4, right? Along with 12 moles of molybdenate. See, this is MO molybdenate. Here molybdenate 3. Along with that, we will get another compound also, that is 21 ammonium nitrate. NH4 NO3. Actually, in your book, that is printing mistake. Again given 12 HNO3. Actually 12 H2O. Please change in your book, right? This reaction will carry out. Now our expected precipitate ammonium phosphomolybdenate. By knowing this weight, we can calculate the phosphorus, right? See here, one more thing we have to use, that magnesium ammonium phosphate, or one more method we have, right? This is one Carey's method for finding mass of phosphorus. Another method with magnesium ammonium phosphate, that organic compound plus magnesium ammonium phosphate. Phosphate. If you take, what will happen? It will give some magnesium pyrophosphate. By knowing this mass of magnesium pyrophosphate, we can find the mass of phosphorus. We are using two methods for phosphorus. Both methods, we are going to use only the two different formulas. For the first method we will get ammonium phosphomolybdenate. Second method, magnesium pyrophosphate. Okay. So as usual, mass of organic compound W1 gram. Okay. Then if you take phosphomolybdenate, if you take, you can use like this. You can use the formula, that is X gram. In case if you take magnesium pyrophosphate, you can take Y, right? Okay, we will write separately for that. First molybdenate we will finish it. Then what is the mass, molar mass for ammonium molybdenate, phosphomolybdenate? What is that? Magnesium phosphomolybdenate. Here ammonium phosphomolybdenate, NH4 thrice PO4 12 molybdenate O3. What's the mass? See, it comes 1877. So out of 1877, it will give phosphorus only 32 gram, right? 32 or 31. I think I am wrong. 31. So if you take 1877 gives 31 gram. Then out of W1, how much X will form for percentage? Okay. So in case if you carry out the second method, this line will change. What will be the weight? It is nothing but 2 gram of magnesium pyrophosphate. Formula, if you see, we can understand because we have 2 phosphorus, O7, I hope, right? 2 phosphorus, so 32, 31, 31 becoming 62 gram will form. So triple 2 out of 62 means out of W1 how much Y for 100. So these methods are very easy if you learn. We'll see the next in the next video. Thank you.